Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody, wherever you are in the world. My name is Rosa, and I am the founder of Oasis Wellness and Yoga Center. And today I want to take a little bit of time to talk about shame. So, what I've come to know about shame is that it is an unreasonably heavy weight that a lot of us carry. Now, it can look differently from person to person, but in this video, I would like to provide some bodily and psychological effects of shame. Also, let you know how you can recognize it in yourself and provide an exercise that you can use whenever you are ready to release shame. So, let's talk about it. In my work, my study, and my personal experience, I've come to know shame to be a belief rather than an emotion. And Brene Brown, who's done a lot of research and work surrounding the topic of shame, she says that shame is an intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are deeply flawed and therefore unworthy of love or belonging. And I have seen this in myself and others, and it has manifested in various ways. But for me, at its core, it's always been about wanting to disconnect, withdraw from yourself and others. And Linda Hartling, she's done some work, some research work around shame as well. And she has talked about 3 strategies of disconnection that we use whenever we are in the throes of shame. She says that we either move away, we move toward, or we move against in our attempt to disconnect due to the shame that we are experiencing. And I'll leave a link to some of her work in the description box just in case you want to take a look at it after you watch this video. Now, what are some bodily and psychological effects of shame? And when I say bodily, I mean any manifestations that can be observed or felt within the various body systems. So, specifically, I have witnessed in myself and others what I would call a grouping of manifestations when we are under the influence of shame. And they include hanging your head, dropping the gaze, rounding your back, and collapsing the body inward. And these are all done in an attempt to disconnect or withdraw and make yourself smaller. Shame can also impact the body by causing you to have labored breathing, increased heart rate. You might feel weakness or limpness in your limbs. You can also experience nausea, dizziness, coldness in your extremities, and even feel flushed in the face. Now, some people can identify these bodily manifestations, while some of us may not. So, if you tend to have trouble checking in with your body, here is an exercise that you can do with someone that you trust. So, you and your trusted person sit opposite of each other while you evoke the experience of shame. Now, your person's job is to witness you as well as note and observe any of the manifestations that might be happening in your body due to the shame that you are experiencing. What's really important with this exercise is that you be mentally well enough to do it and that your person is capable and able to call you back from this experience of shame to ease in your body and mind. So when I do this exercise, I just use this simple phrase. You can now come back to ease in your body and mind. And I repeat that as often as necessary until the person can come out of that experience of shame. And if your person feels comfortable, they can take their hands and place them on your feet or your lower legs, and that will help you ground and come back to ease quicker. Moving on to the psychological effects of shame. Shame can have some pretty nasty psychological effects for us. It can cause us to want to check out of life mentally or physically. It can cause us to condemn ourselves to ongoing punishment and or struggle. And we often condemn ourselves to that punishment or struggle with unhelpful thinking patterns. Under the influence of shame, you may also have persistent self critical thoughts where you are hyper focused on your flaws, and it can cause you to have a more cynical way of dealing with life. You may feel stuck or frozen in life due to the shame you're experiencing and have an overwhelming urge to withdraw or pull back from others. If you're working with a therapist, it might be a good idea to discuss these psychological effects of shame and the bodily effects as well. You, in your time with your therapist, may identify some ways that I didn't list that shame affects you. So let's talk about releasing shame. Now, there are many different ways that we can do this and work through this. However, I want to give you guys an exercise that has been super successful in my life, and I use it whenever I want to release anything from thoughts, ideas, beliefs, energies that I feel like no longer belong with me. I call this exercise an exchange exercise, but you can call it whatever you would like. So here is how you do it. Step one, find comfort. Go to a quiet place, put on some relaxing music, go and be out in nature, put on some comfy clothes, do anything that brings you even 5% closer to comfort. Step two, call upon the higher power that you believe in, whether that is Jesus, Allah, Krishna, Kali, your higher self, the Holy Spirit, whomever, doesn't matter. Just make sure that you invite this higher power in to this exercise with you, because it is your higher power that will give you something to replace the shame. Step number three, get clarity about what it is you want to release. So for this video and for this exercise, we're going to do shame, but you can release anything that you would like at any time using this process. So in this step three, you want to make sure that you have some kind of clarity about what it is you want to release. And something that I do that helps me if I'm feeling a little resistant, or if I just kind of don't know what it is. I just know I need to release something, but I don't know what it is. I often make a list in my mind or written down some of what I might be dealing with at the time, and it helps me have clarity. So, for the sake of this video, you can write down some of the effects of shame and how you have witnessed shame impacting you, so that you can see, okay, yeah, that's what I want to release. And I want to give a caveat here that I don't want you shifting into the experience of shame right now. Your job, and at this point, is just to call it, to bring it to mind and say, yep, that's what I want to release. Step number four, be determined and release it. So in this step, there might be so many things that come to your mind that tell you why you are not able to let this thing go. Please don't listen to those things that come to your mind. We're not trying to have that. You know, by this step, you know what it is you want to release. So don't pay attention to that. I want you to be steadfast, and I want you to allow your higher power to guide you through releasing the shame or whatever else it is you want to release. Step five, ask for something in exchange once you have released it. So it's important here that we make the ask. Your higher power is rooting for you, okay? And your higher power wants you to have what is better. So be bold here and ask. Step 6, receive your replacement. You know how they say, ask and you shall receive? Well, here is where you're going to do the receiving, right here. I want you to notice what it is that you receive in exchange, along with any imagery or phenomena that you witness, so that you can know and be clear and just know in yourself that you have received a replacement. This is also the step for offering gratitude as well. And finally, step 7, I want you to write it down. Do not let this experience stay in your mind only, or only in your imagination. My mentor, Heather Dominic, she talks about how our ego mind tends to forget all of the work that we have done to get and receive our transformation. And we're not doing no forgetting here. So I want you to write it down so that you can have something tangible that you can go back to whenever the shadows of shame try to creep in, okay? Now, the only thing left for you to do is to celebrate, rejoice, and look forward to all the ways that this new thing that you just received will manifest in your life. And that's it, y'all. That's the process. I am so excited for you to experience the newness that will come from working this process and exercise. For me, this exercise and releasing shame was life changing. It was necessary and it was critical. And I watched how my life just kind of like took off once I decided, I'm not carrying this weight of shame no more. So that's it for today's video. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And be sure to share this video if you feel like it would be helpful to someone else. Also, if you decide that you want to try this exercise out, I'm asking that you share your experience in the comment section, because I know that what you experience with releasing shame will help others and be encouragement to us all. Oh, and one last thing before I let y'all go. I have a meditation playlist on my channel with various guided meditations, and I've heard from people that these meditations have just been awesome and they have had amazing experiences with these meditative practices. So check them out. And if you would like your own personalized guided meditation, or if you want one for somebody that you know, just email the address in the description box and I'll be in touch with you. As always, I send you my love and encouragement on your wellness journey, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.